Hey there. Before we get into today's episode, I have something fun to share. The Good Hair Energy Box is live. You can officially subscribe now and is packed with hair must-haves and little surprises to boost your routine. All you have to do is go to goodhairenergy.com or you could check the show notes for the link. Hey there, welcome back to All About Hair. Today, we are going to talk about one of my very favorite styling products, texturizing sprays. I know it is so underrated and misunderstood. So today we're going to dive into it. If you're one of those people who've ever said, my hair just falls flat, I want movement, but I don't want stiffness like with a hairspray. I want my hair to look styled without looking styled. This is going to be for you. Texture spray is one of those quiet overachievers that we don't really talk about. Today, you're going to learn when to use it, how to use it, and it's going to change everything. So let's get into it. Hi there, and welcome to All About Hair with Denise. If you love great hair, real advice, and that feel-good kind of encouragement, you're going to love it here. I'm Denise, and every week we're talking hair care, confidence, simple beauty routines, and the kind of personal growth that feels doable. Let's get into it. Okay, what is a texturizing spray? A texturizing spray is designed to go on dry hair, and it is designed to add grip, movement, and volume. But it's not crunchy. You don't get that helmet head look, feel, all that good stuff. You know, we always associate that helmet hair with old hairspray. If you want to hear a little bit more about that, I do have a podcast that I recorded a few weeks ago all about hairspray and why so many people are afraid of using hairsprays and how the new hairsprays are so different. And there's different types of hairspray. This texturizing spray, some people might consider it a hairspray because it does have some grip to it. It doesn't really have a hold factor. And that's why a lot of people like it, because your hair still moves around. It'll still move. You can still run your fingers through it. Whereas sometimes with hairsprays, you can't do that. There are a few hairsprays out there, soft hold hairsprays, that you can run your fingers through it, but it's going to collapse the style. With this, you're going to get the grip, you're going to get the movement, you're going to get the volume, but guess what? It doesn't collapse the style when you run your fingers through it. That's why it is so good. Modern formulas are lighter, they're more flexible, and they're way more wearable. That's why I love them. Okay, so why do texturizers work so well? The reason why is because it changes how your hair behaves in the first place. It adds a little grit. You know how when your hair is too clean, it's too soft, it doesn't hold a style? We've all been there. We've all said that before. So this adds just a little bit of grit to that. So you're going to feel something in your hair, and it gives fine hair something to hold on to. Like when I used to do brides, if your hair is too fine, that's why we used to always say, come in with dirty hair, because you need something for those bobby pins to hang on to. It needs some grip to it. With texturizing sprays, with fine hair especially, it gives you something to hold on to. So if you're going to be putting pins in the hair, if you're going to be doing an updo, texturizing sprays are wonderful because you could still move the hair. It's not going to get stiff on you like a hairspray would. It also encourages those waves to stay where you want them to stay without being stiff. Again, that is the magic. This is not a stiff spray. Hair that's too silky can be too hard to control. If you're someone who has fine, straight hair, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you're a stylist and you've worked with someone with straight hair, fine hair, you have to create traction or a little bit of friction. A texturizing spray is going to be the way to go. Hey, you guys, before we get going on to our how and when to use a texturizing spray, you might notice if you're watching the video that I'm wearing a new t-shirt. If you listen on the podcast, go over and check out our video. It is our new Good Hair Energy t-shirt. I sell them on the website. You can get yours. You can get them in any color. The sizing is wonderful. They're very soft. It's just a wonderful way of spreading good hair energy, right? And we also have another design on there, and as well as our Bad Hair Day hat. So go check it out. Okay, we're going to move on to how and when to use your texturizing spray. This is where the magic really happens. First rule, always shake the can. Because the way it works, it relies on all those ingredients to be mixed together really well in the can. And then you want to hold it out at arm's length so it'll just mist the hair. If you get too close to your hair, you're going to overload the hair and it's just going to feel too grippy, too gritty. And then if you're too far away, you're not going to get enough on your head. Also, let's talk timing. I always use it on dry hair. Now, you can use it on damp hair, but let's talk about dry hair first. Texturizing spray adds instant lift and separation, and you can really tell this in layered haircuts. Even in my hair, I love spraying it on my hair. It just gives it a little bit of oomph underneath, and I pick up my hair and I spray underneath, inside of my hair, if you will. If you've got a pixie or if you've got shorter hair and you've got a lot of different layers in there, it's instantly going to give you separation so your hair just looks more alive. Now, if you want to use this on slightly damp hair, you can. It's going to enhance your natural wave and the movement of your hair, and then just let it dry naturally. Second day hair is where this really shines, and it can really bring your style back to life, and it refreshes your hair. Now, this is not a dry shampoo. It's not going to absorb oils like a dry shampoo. It just really refreshes the oomph in your hair. One of my favorite techniques, lift up your sections and spray it underneath. Heck, you can even flip upside down and spray underneath that way. This gives you volume without weighing your hair down. And it keeps the finish really soft and touchable, because then you can go through with your hands and place your hair where you want it to be. But remember, less is more. Start really light, and because you can always add more. Now, who should be using texturizing spray? I think everybody, almost everybody. Okay, if you have fine hair, texturizing spray gives you fullness without that stickiness, without heaviness. So fine hair friends, got you. If you have straight hair, it's going to add movement and it makes your curls last longer. Who doesn't love that? Because that is a huge concern with straight hair. If you have wavy or curly hair, it enhances the definition of your waves, and it creates that effortless, like beach-like wave look. Now, it's not sea salt spray, it's not hairspray, but it'll give you that effortless look without any stiffness. And if you're wearing updos like we were saying, or braids, oh my gosh, it's a good one for braiding. If you've ever tried to French braid and the hair just slips out of your fingers, spray a little texturizing spray on there, and you'll have a little bit of grip, and so your braid will last in there. Love it. Okay, this is how I usually describe a texture spray to people. It doesn't lock in your style, but it does give your hair personality. Lots and lots of times we'll blow dry our hair and then it looks fine, but it's just kind of sitting there, laying there. Texturizing spray, it's really hard to define what it does until you see what it does and feel what it does. It just gives your hair movement. It gives your hair life. I think you actually just have to try it on yourself before you make a judgment on it. You know, before you say, oh, I don't need that. It's not for me. Sometimes I have people that, well, lots of times, that use this in place of hairspray because they don't want any stiffness. Again, with every product that I tell you about, I want you to know that this is not about trend following. It's not about, oh, this is just the latest, greatest. No, texturizing sprays have been around. They've gotten better, but it's about confidence, about feeling good with your hair, with your hairstyle, with how your hair behaves. Texturizing spray is about hair that moves with you, that you can run your fingers through, that your partner can run their fingers through. It's about styling your hair without looking like you tried too hard. No matter how long it takes to do your hair, you don't want it to look like that. I remember a long time ago when it used to be, well, it was in the 80s, so that's a long time ago. We'd blow dry our hair upside down, get it as big as possible. Then we would spray it with hairspray. Then we would crank out the hot rollers, get those rollers in there, and then we go in and back comb and then use more hairspray. I tell you, our hair was not moving. I am so glad those days are over. I'm going to tell you a couple of texturizing sprays that I really, really enjoy. And of course, my very favorite is the Euphoria Full Effect. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Euphoria. That is what I use personally. That's what I use in my salon. It's what I've used for a long, long time. However, I'm not opposed to other brands. I want this channel, this podcast, this YouTube, I want our conversations to be about all kinds of brands. That's why I'm not opposed to drugstore products if they work and if they have clean ingredients. I mean, there's some products out there that, regardless if they work, you probably wouldn't want to use them. I want to tell you a few texturizing products. Again, Full Effect, number one in my book, favorite. Smells freaking wonderful and it works really wonderful. Now, Orbe is the number one texturizing spray. I personally have never used it because I enjoy Full Effect. However, it has been the number one texturizing spray for, gosh, I don't know how long. Every person who uses it tells me the same thing. They would never use anything else. This is stylists and clients alike. So there must be something to it. I'll leave a link to it. Also, I know Kevin Murphy has a fabulous texturizing spray. We used to carry Kevin Murphy in one of my salons, and it was a really, really great product. Let me think. Color Wow has a great texturizing spray. Anyway, I'll list a few, and I will also try to put those on my Amazon storefront, or at least put the links to where you can find these in the show notes, because I think finding the correct texturizing spray for you is a game changer. You can also start with a travel size. That's always nice, and see if it's going to fit with your hair routine. My advice would be start light. If you do end up using one of these texturizing sprays, start light. Less is more. Play with it. See how it feels on your hair. You can always add more. And just remember, when you know better, you do better, right? All right. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you love this, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. And if you want a little extra good hair energy delivered to your door each month, go check out my Good Hair Energy subscription box.